What is up, guys? Here from the Madden YouTube channel. Today's video, we're going to beat zone coverage by getting slower on the offensive side of the football.
What did he just say?
Yes, I said slower. A lot of players don't realize that when it comes to zone coverage in this game, there is a thing that I like to refer to as speed discrepancy that will make your passing windows for beating zone so much easier. And today we're going to go over one of the biggest mistakes a lot of players make when they're running their offense, thinking that top end speed at every position on the field is the ultimate king and nothing else matters. I'm going to tell you right now, and I've said this for a long time, route abilities beat man, route combos beat zone. So for those of you out there that are struggling with zone coverage, in particular the KO meta where a player peels all the way back to the ball and can knock out a throw on the sideline, maybe you guys can make a small tweak to your offense that doesn't involve changing the route combo as much as it means changing the players running the route combo. So let's go ahead and get right into the primary mistake that a lot of players make. We're going to go into our depth chart. We are going to take a look at our wide receivers. The number one mistake that I see a lot of players make when it comes to beating zone coverage is that they have their fastest player possible being the player that's receiving the football when it comes to beating the zone, meaning that you want to throw the ball to Jamar Chase, don't we all? But the truth is the skill set of Jamar Chase in this context, as it pertains beating somebody that basically has eyes in the back of their head, a lot of times you want to have the faster player be what we call the pull route, while the player that comes in behind the pull route into the void in the zone is considerably slower. If you have two players that are basically the same speed or 1 point or maybe 2 points different in speed, you basically aren't allowing the pull route to get out in front of the route that's coming in behind. So this is really key, because if you have two 94 speed receivers, your corner route combo is going to stay together, as opposed to if you have a really fast player, he's going to get out in front and then the slow player is going to come in behind, giving you that gap, which you're kind of looking for. And you don't really realize that a lot of times that trail player being slower is going to help give you a bigger window to throw to. Let me show you what I mean. So what we're going to start off with here is Jamar Chase. He is the fastest receiver we have on our team. We're going to run him as our pull route against a cover 3 with the outside third KO. Here in the number 3 receiver position, our inside most slot is going to be Andre Iosivas, who is a height speed guy, a rookie. He is just a little bit slower than Jamar Chase, but it's only about 2 speed difference. And I'm going to show you guys exactly what I mean as it pertains beating this coverage. But before I do that, if you guys could do me a favor, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel and hit that notification bell, so that way you guys are notified of all the videos going out here on the channel. So let's start off with a street corner combo. Again, here on the outside, we are going to have Jordan Poyer, and Jordan Poyer has the deep out KO ability. I'm playing him in this outside third. Essentially with this ability, it allows players to play a cover 3 hard flat, defend a streak, but still see the corner out and peel back on it. If I snap this ball, hold on to it long enough, and go to throw this down an outside pass lead, you see that there is sometimes a chance where if you have a velocity ability, you can fit this ball in, but that requires AP. So what we're going to do now is use Jake Browning, and I want to show you what this looks like without velocity, because I know some of you play regs and some of you play MUT without a velocity ability. I myself do not use set feet lead. So when we go to throw this here, you're going to see that with the velocity ability, you're going to go to throw this ball, and that player can get back and make this knockout. You see that we dropped it. I tried to throw this down. I tried to throw it away from the receiver and make a conservative catch, but it just wasn't possible. Again, if we were to go into our depth chart and take a look at the speed discrepancy of these players, Jamar Chase is a 94 speed. You can see that right here, while Andre Iosivas is a 92 speed. They are essentially pretty much the same speed. Now we're going to take this to an extreme. You won't need to go this far with it, but I'm going to go ahead and put in a considerably slower player in Tanner Hudson here. This is a tight end. He is 82 speed. He is 10 speed slower than Jamar Chase. Now, the value of this is that you're subbing in a slower tight end. Your run game is going to be better. The audible options are going to be better because it's going to give you guys audible down options to get into ace. It makes it a little bit tougher to sit in, say, you know, a 3-3 type defense and get read and react AI if you choose to run the ball. But what we're going to do is we're going to put Tanner Hudson in the game. So let me go ahead and do that. Hudson is going to go in at that same position. Now, with that speed discrepancy being 10, with Jamar Chase being the 92 and Hudson being the 82, you're going to notice that while it does take Hudson a little bit longer to get down the field into his route, you're going to immediately notice that the sideline is more open for us to throw the ball. Now, right there, we got a poor accuracy due to Browning not meeting accuracy thresholds. But again, you see that it was pretty considerable in terms of the gap that we have available. So let's go ahead and throw this again. You're gonna see here, I'm gonna try to throw this accurate. And you're gonna see here that I can basically make these toe taps on the sideline, and they can't get a knockout animation at all on this because there's a bigger gap in where the receivers are. Again, keeping in mind, when you have similar speed players, the pull route has to do a lot more work. When you don't have similar speed players, the pull route could just run down the field and it's going to organically get considerably out in front. I mean, you see right here, we've got about almost 10 yards of gap to throw this down. Now, again, if you've got a velocity ability, you're going to zip this in no matter what. Without a velocity ability, this makes this throw possible, whereas when they're the same speed, it's really not. Again, when it comes to beating zone, it's about your route combo, not your speed. Of course, it's great if somebody has a hole in their zone and you want to fly a streak down the field wide open deep and catch it and keep running and not get caught behind. But the truth is, most good players out there don't leave a ton of holes deep in their zone for you to hit one-play touchdowns. And honestly, if your route combo is good enough anyways, you're going to have a touchdown even if you have a slightly slower player. So I'm not out here telling you guys that you have to go out and run 60 speed tight ends or 70 speed tight ends. You don't have to take it to that extreme, but maybe you do roster a big physical, maybe a lower overall wide receiver that has a good skill set. Maybe he's a phenomenal run blocker. Maybe you roster a run blocking tight end with good hands that maybe doesn't have elite skills to, run by people. But if you're facing that pure zone coverage knockout meta, this is a great candidate to be wide open on a route combo that is typically defended when you have basically two 95 speed receivers running next to each other. Let me give you another example real quick in how we kind of artificially create speed discrepancy with another tip here on the channel. You guys may recall a tip that I did in which we do the flip streak. This is where we flip a formation and put a receiver on a streak when they're behind the offensive line. This allows us to create wheels on the fly. This essentially is allowing us to kind of change the speed of our wide receiver by having a delayed release vertically on this route. So in this example here, if I were to run kind of a streak and a wheel, ignore the left side of the field here, you're gonna see that B's gonna get out in front, and then we have this player getting out late into the play, which allows us to throw this ball in behind. This is essentially the same tip, just packaged in a slightly different setup. You're getting a guy into a hole in the zone much later in the play by kind of artificially creating it via the timing of your route. Now, again, this flip streak trick, if my timing is different, I can make my guy run his streak a little bit quicker. Now, that's great when you don't have a KO down the right sideline, but as you might imagine, the lag or the speed discrepancy that we're creating is a little bit different, where a KO might be able to get to that throw because they have the eyes in the back of their head. You see that they're not as far behind each other versus when I have the much more exaggerated wheel. Now, all of a sudden, that gap gets a little bit larger, and that's a lot more distance for a KO to have to turn around and run. This way, with the speed discrepancy, you don't have to worry about that because you basically are running a slower player into the void regardless. So if we're running, say, for instance, that same Tanner Hudson card out to the, the short sideline against a cover 3, you're not going to deal with that being a problem. So what we're going to do here is I'll just put Jamar Chase on this fade as the pull route. We'll let Tanner Hudson on this really, considerably slower speed discrepancy run the corner as normal. And we'll snap the ball, let Chase really pull. And now, lo and behold, we're out making this throw. Again, this would work with or without a velocity ability. It's just having a bigger gap in speed between the guy that's running deep to pull the zone and the guy that's coming in behind that to get into the gap of the defense. But I hope that this little tip kind of opens your eyes towards maybe some items you could roster for and in case of emergency glass break in your offense. Hopefully it allows you guys to start drawing up route combos a little bit differently, knowing that these lag players, these guys that trail behind the play, are going to find the holes in the zone and going to actually open up bigger windows for you to throw to as well. If you guys like today's video, again, consider subscribing to the channel, hit that notification bell, drop a like, drop a comment, help push this video out in the algorithm, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with our next YouTube upload. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab and good luck.